creative freelancers and solopreneurs. Welcome to Coaching for Creatives. I want to talk to you about disappointment. I want to talk to you about what happens when we have really high expectations for ourselves or for others, and something happens such that those expectations don't get matched, and we end up having that feeling of disappointment. I want to talk to you about all the ways that we might be sabotaging ourselves and our success by trying to avoid disappointment or avoid that feeling. Welcome to Coaching for Creatives. My name is Aura McKay. I am the founder of Business of Creativity and your host for these weekly live broadcasts that come to you through my Facebook group and community. So if you're not already a member, join me there. Maybe you're watching this on the YouTube channel, in which case, welcome. And please make sure that you subscribe and comment, because all of that love gives me something to work with in terms of feedback on what matters and what's valuable to you. And it also helps other people to see the message. Coming back to the idea of avoiding disappointment. There's this feeling sometimes, if I never really try 100%, then if I don't succeed, then it won't matter as much. I won't feel as disappointed because I didn't give it my all. There's a lot of people out there, and I think this comes from myself included, where sometimes I don't go full tilt. I don't go all in because what if it doesn't work? Sometimes we have this feeling of holding back a little bit because if it fails, at least we won't have given it our all. Sometimes the fear of failure causes us to hold back and to not actually give something 100% of our effort. Sometimes what happens for us is that we will avoid setting big goals because our experience has been that we set these big goals and then we don't meet them. And then we have that feeling of disappointment, of feeling like less than, that we didn't get it, that we didn't make it. It can be challenging sometimes to build ourselves back up, to set those big goals and to feel like goals is something that's actually meaningful. Hi, Craig. Greg says, is that the same as under promise and over deliver? In some ways, Greg, absolutely, because there can be the fear of disappointing our clients. When we have that fear and we're avoiding the disappointed client experience, sometimes what we do is we try to set those client expectations really low so that we're not going to fail in terms of meeting them. It can be a great strategy in terms of managing your clients' expectations so that you're continuously over delivering on them. That can be a really great strategy as long as what you're doing is that you're intentionally managing the expectations. What you've given us, Greg, is a shortcut to how do we stop avoiding disappointment? How do we stop creating this environment or this culture or these habits of, I don't want to be disappointed, so I'm going to take a shortcut, or so I'm going to underpromise, or so I'm not going to go after the client. I'm not going to actually ask for the sale. I don't want to be disappointed by not getting it. One of the things that happens for us, or at least for me sometimes, is I'll get this great new idea. Maybe for you, you have a new offer, or you have a limited time offer, or something that's a big event coming up in your business, and you're super excited, and you've placed a lot of meaning and expectation on the event. Oh, when this thing happens, when I get 10 clients, then I'm going to be made in the shade. Then all my money problems will be solved. Or we might say, oh, when this event fills, then that'll mean I've really made it. We set up these expectations for ourselves that mean more than they mean. Meaning sometimes we'll set it up that, oh, when I get to this place, that means all of this other stuff will no longer be a problem for me, or all of this other stuff will be solved and will be instantly figured out perfectly. Sometimes when we do that, we've set our expectations so high that there's no possible way that we can meet them. What I have found is the opposite, is that when I go to outsource or I go to hire someone, I have these really big expectations where maybe I've been avoiding outsourcing for a long time because I haven't wanted to be disappointed in the experience. And I finally go to do it. And now I have all these expectations about what outsourcing is going to mean. Oh, it's going to mean I'll have tons of free time and all my problems will be solved. And I'll never have to focus on this again. And that person will have all of the answers. And it's not really fair for me to put all of those expectations on a vendor. And it gets me curious, are your clients doing that to you? Greg, I think it's really great to manage our expectations. What I'd be curious about is, do you consistently find that clients come to you with really outrageous expectations for what's going to be delivered, or really outrageous expectations for what success might look like in working with you, and that you have to actively help them to understand and manage those expectations so that you avoid disappointing them? Be curious, how do your clients come to you? And for the rest of you, this is the really key piece, is that often it's not the success or failure of the experience that we're really having when we're disappointed. It's the success or failure in terms of meeting our expectations or meeting the expectations of the clients. One of the greatest gifts that I have had in some of the conversations that I've been involved with in trying to outsource or in hiring new vendors is when I get an opportunity to talk to a prospective vendor and they do exactly that. They help to manage my expectations. Let me give you a real world example. A lot of times in my mastermind meetings, people will come into the meeting and they will be sharing some of their challenges. One of their challenges might be, gosh, I'm only getting 50% of the people are opening my emails. What am I doing wrong? Now, anybody who's ever done email marketing is listening to that number going, woo, woo, 50%. What do you mean? What are you doing wrong? That's fantastic. And here's the deal, folks. When we have an expectation of greater than 50%, when we only get 50% opening our emails, we feel disappointed. We feel like there's something wrong. We feel that, oh, what happened? I'm not enough. I didn't do it. We hear all of that experience. When we have the expectation of getting 20% of people opening our emails, when we get a result of 50%, we have a completely different experience. The result is the same, folks, but the experience, the feeling that we have is different. I'm not telling you to unilaterally lower all of your standards and lower your expectations. What I am inviting you to do is to look specifically at how you interact with your clients. Are you setting both of you up for success by effectively managing the expectations? What are the possible outcomes? What could it feel like to work with you? How frequently will you be connecting or communicating or giving reports? Often what I find is I have a very high expectation of frequency of communication with my clients and also with vendors. Unless I set that expectation from the beginning, I can come across as really demanding and constantly bugging people and reaching out to them and being annoying because I am looking for that high level of communication. If I set out that expectation in the beginning, right from the get-go, I will be communicating every 2 days with you. Then I've set that expectation. There's an agreement, there's an understanding there. And as long as I keep my word, I will be meeting or exceeding the expectations that we've established. A lot of avoiding disappointment is about getting clear on the communication, getting clear on agreements, getting clear on what those expectations are. Specifically, if you are avoiding disappointment by avoiding taking action because you're avoiding the experience of imposter syndrome, here's my encouragement to you. Do it anyways. Take action anyways. Reach out anyways without the expectation of being 100% successful. Choose an expectation of learning. Choose an expectation of exploration or curiosity. Choose an expectation of practicing your mastery. When we set our own expectations, we are setting ourselves up for success by choosing something that is meaningful, that is achievable, that is something that we can use to manage the experience of disappointment. I'd love to hear from you. What are you currently doing to manage expectations with your clients? What has been an experience where your expectations were totally out of line and you ended up being very disappointed? Any tips or tricks that you have had for avoiding disappointment in your personal life or in your business without completely letting go of your standards, your boundaries, and your own dreams? That's the key, folks. That's the key. Thank you for joining me live for Coaching for Creatives. I hope to see you here next week, and I look forward to all of your comments. Please do let me know your thoughts about this topic and what your experiences have been. We'll see you next week. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm Ora McKay. We'll see you again.